my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Alright, so, by the time I'm filming this, I am filming this March 9th, I believe, and at like 8 o'clock in the morning. But, by the time you're watching this, you're watching it on March 13th, sometime around, I don't know, whenever I post it, because I'll have it ready by then. But, today is the day, well, the day that you're watching this, is the day when my school, Millennium Middle School, got closed down because of COVID. So it's been 1 year since we've had COVID, well, since we've been in quarantine, and yeah. So I know it's technically not the best time to talk about something like this, but it's a very important thing in our lives because I don't think anything like this has happened in America. But we're not going to be talking about that. Today we're going to be doing something a little fun today. And that since quarantine has given us the time, relax, hang out with family, even though we've been hanging out with our family for over a year now, I thought it would be nice to talk about the films that I've watched over quarantine. Now, I'm not going to be doing like this big list, like what movies did I watch in this month, what movies did I watch in that month, because let's be honest, I didn't see many movies this quarantine. I mean, I have towards like November and December, but like when quarantine started, I wasn't really watching any movies. But before I give you my top 5, I will be giving you some honorable mentions. So the first one is gonna be Birds of Prey. Now this is actually a movie I saw recently for my DCEU series, and this is just a great film. The action is well choreographed. It's not trying to be CGI action. It's trying to be hand-to-hand combat and really just action that is like John Wick and stuff like that. So I love the way they did the action in this movie, and it just has like this Deadpool vibe that I love, and like the story is really good, and there's a lot of laugh out loud moments. So I love Birds of Prey. Then we have Avatar, which it's a really good film. I definitely like Avatar. And this was actually my first time seeing it last year in November, because we were going to Disney World that next weekend, and we were going to Animal Kingdom to go on the Avatar rides, but the thing is, we've never seen Avatar, so we wanted to watch the Avatar movie first to get ready for it. And plus, the thing about it is, Avatar is we watched Avatar the Sunday of, I believe, November 8th, I believe. Yeah, November 8th. Because November 9th, no, there was no school because of this flash flood, I guess. So yeah, that was a great film. And, I guess I don't really have any more honorable mentions, so let's get into the list, shall we? So for me, this is actually one of those films I saw this year. I saw it 2 months ago at the end of January. I included it in my all 5 non-new released films, but as an honorable mention, because I didn't want to change the list around, because I had it already, well, sort of, but I didn't want to change the list around. And technically, I like this movie more than Chicken Run, which was at number 1 on the list, but I couldn't change it, so that's why I never had it number 1. But here are my honest thoughts on Superbad. I absolutely love this movie. This movie is hilarious. They just take these weird sex jokes and make it so funny. And what makes it also funny is the great cast with Jonah Hill and Seth Rogen and Emma Stone. Like, the whole cast is really good, and like they just say these weird things that are just so funny, and like they just take this plot line of college kids, of high school kids wanting to have sex before they head off to college, and it just takes this plot line so cool. I love Superbad. I can't talk more about it. And plus, like, they have this, like, weird thing of Jonah Hill's storyline, like, when he was a kid, that he used to draw pictures of penises, and like he until people found out he wasn't allowed to eat penis type shaped foods. Like, it was just so funny. So I love this movie, and I bet I'm gonna be watching this movie for a very long time, and hopefully Netflix and Hulu don't like take it away, because I need to watch this movie over and over again. Okay, so this is actually another one of those movies that I saw recently. I saw this for my pick for my Valentine's Day movie this year. The first one that really came up was 10 Things I Hate About You, and I personally loved it. It was just so, it feels so 90s. Everybody says that a lot. I love the cast, I love the soundtrack, and the little dramas that happen within it you care about. And as it is rom-com, it does a lot of rom-com things. It's funny, and do you like the romances in it? And I will say this, there are a couple of scenes, like when Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger's characters are playing paintball and they fall into the haystack. You can tell that they're going to kiss. Honestly, you could tell that they're going to kiss. But, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't like that, but I did. But it seemed predictable at first. But overall, this is just one of the best rom-coms I've ever seen. I'm not the biggest fan of the genre, but since I saw this movie, I'm planning to watch more rom-coms in the future. Now, I will say this. When I watched it back in November of 2020, I only watched it for really one reason, and it was just to get ready for the Christmas Chronicles sequel. I didn't watch it because I wanted to. Well, I've been wanting to watch it for a long time, since they put it on Netflix, but I never really planned to watch it very soon. But when I watched it, I loved it. I fell in love with it. I don't know. I just think there was something clever about this, is that I think the relationship between Kate and Teddy, I thought was well done. And also, Kurt Russell's Santa Claus, he seems a little bit rude and cocky at first, but once you get into his style and like he knows everybody and like his style of being Santa Claus, it's just a ton of fun to see it. Also, I just love the way we get to explore Santa Claus's world in it. It's just a lot of fun to see all these car chases and stuff like that, and like we get to see some cute reindeer, and we actually get to see people in the Christmas spirit. It's just a fun Christmas movie and also we get one of the best scenes of Netflix films, where you have elves as the cavalry protecting Teddy from the bad guys. It is just a lot of fun to see this movie. So it's fun, it's funny, it's heartfelt, and it has some Christmas spirit that you are going to enjoy, and you are going to be on the edge of your seat. So this is one of my favorite Christmas movies, as well as one of my favorite Netflix movies of all time too. So last year, in July of 2020, they decided, because since Fox is part of Disney now, and some Fox movies are Marvel, they decided to put some X-Men movies. They started to put X-Men movies onto Disney Plus, and the first one of those was X-Men: Days of Future Past, and I loved it. It was just a phenomenal film. The story of sending Wolverine to the past to stop this Sentinel War from killing all mutants in the future, that's a good storyline that I did not really think of. And it was just so clever. But now, it's a nice storyline that we got, but what really puts this film on top is the relationship between young Charles Xavier with James McAvoy and Eric Lemcher, Michael Fassbender, and their relationship together was just so good. And when I actually never mind. But this movie just has a lot of classic scenes. It's like Charles Xavier doesn't want to do this because he's afraid. He's depressed because he's gone through this life where Eric took Raven from him. Eric abandoned him, and it's like he's scared too. He doesn't want to do this, and like he just has a great character arc. Beyond that, you just get a great Quicksilver scene in the kitchen where he's slowing time down, and then he has to stop all the cops from capturing them, and it's just a great scene. And Magneto has like a great line at the end. Well, as you see the mutants getting torn up, as you hear him speaking, but the mutants in the future are getting teared apart, and it's just an amazing scene. I love X-Men Days of Future Past, but there are issues here. I wish it's kind of like Endgame a little bit, where I wish they kind of showed what was going on. Like, I wanted them to show the original X-Men movies, X-Men characters more, because they're technically the main characters of this universe. But honestly, I've been watching all of the X-Men First Class movies, and I've actually liked this franchise a little bit more because they have they have more interesting arcs with the characters. But still, I love this movie, and also the ending doesn't really satisfy me that much. But still, an amazing film, and I absolutely love, and I still can rewatch. That's right. I have another X-Men movie on my list. So yeah, so I believe in October, my sister's friend has HBO Max, and she decided to give it to us. I guess because she's a friend and she knows we love streaming services, because she doesn't want us to be bored. Anyways, and one of the things that HBO Max has is the X-Men films. Well, they only have two, like this one and Dark Phoenix. And X-Men First Class was one of those movies that I wanted to see because I haven't seen it yet and I wanted to watch it. And everybody else was saying that it's good. And to be honest, this is a very good movie. Like I said with X-Men Days of Future Past, this movie does a lot of things that are better. And it feels like the proper origin story. It feels like the proper origin story for the X-Men characters. I really like the 60s aesthetic vibe. It feels, if you really think about the First Class series, it feels a lot like WandaVision, where the first film was in the 60s, the second film was in the 70s, the third film was in the 80s, and then the fourth film was in the 90s. And it's kind of cool a little bit. But anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this movie. And I love First Class. The action sequences are handled very well. The CGI in this looks really good. And some of the characters is just so good. And I kind of like the weirdness of it, where the heroes are learning their powers. Like, they explore their powers, and you can see which characters are there. And it's kind of cool a little bit. And they just have some, I think this movie just has some good messages of, you don't need to change yourself. You can be normal. You don't have to be, just be yourself. Be normal. And it has a good message in that. And of course, the third act of this film is fantastic, where Magneto is trying to kill the humans, and he has this amazing speech, but Charles just doesn't take it that way, and then, like, all the other members of the X-Men try to stop him, and then Charles gets paralyzed. Like, he's paralyzed! He can't move his legs! And it's like, the score in the movie is fantastic, and there's stakes in the movie that I love. So for me, it has to bunch of everything I love in an X-Men movie. So for me, it comes in at number 1. Now, Logan is my number 1 favorite X-Men movie, but I love this movie. But, I don't think Logan's that type of movie to be put on this list. I like X-Men Days of Future Past a little bit more, but I would say Logan's still my favorite one. But Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My Instagram name is Marvel6. My TikTok name is Marvel1Fan. If you guys don't understand those names, head to my YouTube About section. You'll find everything there. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.